Hey everybody out there, this is Seto Kaiba from your Yu-Gi-Oh! Chat channel, and today for you guys, I'm going to be profiling for you my Battlin Boxer deck. I've been playing Battlin Boxer since Tekkyan originally came out back in May of 2013. It took me a couple weeks to get all the cards together and everything, but I finally got everything together now. And it's a very fun, cheap deck that is very good and very consistent. But I feel that people overlook the deck for the fact that when Tekkyan was originally released with Battlin Boxers, people kind of wanted all the E-Dragon stuff. They wanted Spellbook of Judgment Day. They wanted Dragosack for the dragons. And decks and archetypes like Mega Phantom Beast, Harpies, to some extent that is Harpies, and Battlin Boxers got overlooked when Tekkyan was originally released. So I personally like the deck, and it's a very fun deck to play. I'll talk about the deck, guys, when I go through the deck, my deck right now. But let's get started on the deck profile, guys. So first off, I run 3 Battlin Boxer Switch Hitter, and I run 3 Battlin Boxer Glassjaw. There's kind of a loop set up when you play these monsters. There's kind of a loop. I call it a loop. Some people don't call it a loop. But if you have lead yoke or anything, if you're trying to make lead yoke, this is the best way to make it. So say I have, lead yoke on the field. If I had Switch Hitter and Glassjaw attached to lead yoke, I want to send Switch Hitter to the grave first, and then I want to send Glassjaw to the grave. That way I can activate Glassjaw's effect from grave, which means I can add Switch Hitter back to hand, which means I can make another lead yoke over here. I kind of abuse this loop, if you want to call it. We'll just call it a loop for heaven's sake. But I abuse this loop with this deck because I like going into Lavava Chain over here. That way I can set up that loop. That way I can set up making lead yoke just that much more easier and consistent too. Next up, I run 3 Battlin Boxer Spara. Battlin Boxer Spara, if it helps make lead yoke. It is Bermuda Shark. So I think that's what it's called, Bermuda Shark. So if you activate this card on standby phase 2, you don't have to worry about it. You always want to activate this card in standby phase 2 because its effect is if you special summon this card, you can't conduct your battle phase. And for that matter, a lot of people don't play this. I've seen people run 2 of him. I've seen people just run 1 of him. I've seen people not even run Spara because of that. But you have to play it properly, and it's best to play it in main phase 2. That way you can make a lead yoke in main phase 2. But I also like using it for making Lavava Chain and a whole bunch of other things. But you just have to play it properly. It's a very good card, and it helps making lead yoke that much more consistent. Next up, I run 3 Battlin Boxer Headgear. Some people don't like him. I personally like him. Headgear is like Armageddon Knight, so you send 1 Battlin Boxer when he's normal summoned, or I think when he's summoned, you get to send 1 Battlin Boxer from your deck to grave. So that works well. And I like using him with Spara to make lead yoke, or I like using him, with Lavava Chain. So one of my favorite plays to do is instead of going for lead yoke right off the bat, I can set up that loop, quote unquote, by going Headgear, send Switch Hitter to the grave, make second standby phase, special summon Spara, then make Lavava Chain, activating Lavava Chain's effect, sending Glassjaw from deck to grave, which means I get Glassjaw's effect kicks off in the grave, which means I can add Switch Hitter back from the grave to my hand, and for next turn I'm all set up on making a lead yoke. So that's one of my favorite plays in the deck, guys. 2 Counterpunch. Some people do not like Counterpunch, and I understand why. He's not as good as Honest, he's not as good as Kalut, he's not as good as Crane, but he is good, and he has helped me out in some sticky situations many, many times. If you play Kaiser Coliseum in your Battlin Boxer deck, I'm currently testing that out in the deck. I really like it, but I haven't put it into the main deck yet. Counterpunch comes in handy in those situations. Also, Counterpunch comes in handy for the fact that I've many, many times run across somebody going Effect Veiler, Breakthrough Skill, something to my lead yoke so he doesn't get his effect off, and then they'll try to attack the lead yoke and just run over it. Battlin Boxer Counterpunch has helped me so many times in those certain situations. It is I mean, literally, they shoot themselves in the foot. You know, they punch themselves in the face because literally he comes in handy, and that yoke gains 1,000 attack. so he becomes whatever attack he originally he was. But it has come in handy in many situations for me. So that's why I run 2 of them. My personal tech into the deck is 2 Mass Charmeleons along with 2 Photon Thrashers. Mass Charmeleon just helps make synchros in the deck, which is kind of a good add-on to the deck. And Photon Thrasher because this deck revolves around level 4 spamming exceeds. So it spams level 4 exceeds fairly well, and Photon Thrasher helps out with that. Plus, Mass Charmeleon is good in this deck because Glassjaw does have 0 attack, and Photon Thrasher has 0 attack, so that means I have 5 targets in total in the deck for Mass Charmeleon. Plus, Mass Charmeleon can be searched out with King of the Feral Imps, which is why I'm currently testing out Kageto Kage in the deck, because this deck revolves around rank 4 spam. And Photon Thresher works out well in the deck if you're making Lavava Chain too. So it helps with Lavava Chain setting up for lead yokes too. 2 Blue Mountain Butterfly guys. I may replace him with Kageto Kage. It just helps out with rank 4 spam, making Lavava Chain, setting up for lead yoke, and that loop, I guess you could say, just making lead yoke easier to make. But it helps out with rank 4 spam. Same with Photon Thrasher because he's a warrior. This is a warrior. It means I can use warrior exceeds like Heroic Champion Excalibur, Blade Armor Ninja, things of that nature. So this is kind of a rank 4 warrior spam deck along with lead yoke. But Blue Mountain Butterfly is a warrior, so it has some synergy in the deck with it. It's also, it's Kageto Kage, but for warriors, and it works well in the deck for me. I'm currently testing out Kage just to see, if it works out because I play gadgets. For my one-ofs, I play 1 Blaster. You don't need Blaster in the deck, but he does come in handy. I play 1 Thunder King because this deck really doesn't search that much. It mostly abuses the second hand, and Thunder King can just help out. And plus, if you don't get him first turn, you can use him as a 19 beater or use him for exceed fodder. But 1 Thunder King just comes in handy. For my spells, I run 2 Forbidden Lance and 2 MSTs. MSTs are in there just in case they Fiendish Chain my lead yoke. I can go chain MST and destroy the Fiendish Chain. Forbidden Lance just helps out with lead yoke. Extra protection for lead yoke to keep him alive as long as I can. I run 1 Battling Boxer Spirit. I know some people like running 2 or 3 of this card. I just prefer 1. It's player preference really. It does come in handy. It's Monster Reborn in the deck. You do have to mill 1 card when you activate this. But it's Monster Reborn for Battling Boxers. And it does come in handy in certain situations, but I just prefer 1 instead of 2 or 3. I do run, instead of running 2 Battling Boxer Spirits, Warrior Returning Alive. That way, instead of milling a card, I can just get back a Blue Mountain Butterfly, a Battling Boxer Spara, and make an Exceed if I need to, a level 4 Exceed. So that's why I run 1 Warrior Returning Alive. I run 1 Foolish Burial so I can just send Glassjaw from deck to grave just to get an effect off if I want a Battling Boxer in the deck. Say they effect veilered my lead yoke and I wasn't able to get my switch hitter back to hand. So I can go Foolish, send Glassjaw to grave, and get switch hitter back to my hand so I can make another lead yoke or something of that nature. For my one-of spells, I run 1 Book of Moon, 1 Dark Hole, and 1 Rhoda. And that rounds out the spells right there. So Rhoda, it's a warrior deck. Dark Hole works good because lead yoke's effect. You can, do it that way. And Book of Moon, just a good spell card overall. For my traps, I won 2 Mirror Force guys. Just staple traps here. 2 Mirror Force. 2 Fiendish Chains. For my 1F traps, thanks to the TCG ban list, 1 Compulse, 1 Bottomless, and 1 Torrential Tribune. Torrential Tribune works good in this deck because of lead yoke's effect. It's another way to abuse the effect. You act Torrential Tribune, you detach lead yokes. A card from lead yoke. Lead yoke gets bigger in his attack, and Torrential Tribune just destroyed all your opponent's monsters, so you can possibly hit your opponent directly. And my final card in my main deck is XYZ Reflector. It comes in handy with this deck because it is a rank 4 type spam deck along with making lead yoke. You have to understand that. It spams rank 4 warriors and just rank 4 monsters, plus it makes lead yoke the boss monster. And XYZ Reflector is like Solemn Judgment for XYZs because you can activate it and you can negate a spell, trap card, affect monsters, effect, negate that card and send it to the graveyard, and your opponent takes 500 damage. It has won me games sometimes. It's a useful card to have in certain situations. That's why I run one of it. For the extra deck guys, I do not run, actually, I'm just going to talk about these quickly because they are fun to play with. I do not run number 105, Battling Boxer Starcrest. It is a fun card to use. It is fun to play with the Chaos type of the deck, but I do find it inconsistent. Sometimes I do go into this guy, but not enough to put him in the side deck. And this guy is just hard to make unless you run a rank up version of the deck. So for the extra deck guys, I run 3 lead yokes. Don't be surprised if in a single duel you go through all 3 lead yokes. It's just such a good card to make though. 1 Lavava Chain guys. Like I talked about earlier, you can abuse his effect with Lavava Chain. A lot of Battling Boxer players said they would play Lavava Chain in the extra deck and run this deck kind of like this, but the Lavava Chain's too expensive. 1 King of the Feral Imps. It helps me be able to search out Mass Charmeleon if I just want to make a quick synchro play. It's one of the reasons why I've been thinking about putting Kage Tokage instead of Blue Mountain Butterfly. Spy, excuse me. But that's why I run King of the Feral Imps. I can search out Mass Charmeleon and get a beat stick on board. Maestro, just a good level 4. Gaga Cowboy comes in handy. If you want to run Utopia or Geminite Pearl, be my guest, guys. It comes in handy in the deck. 1 Pappy. 1 Black Ship. 1 Abyss Dweller comes in handy. 1 Diamond Direwolf. If you want to place Diamond Dire with Utopia or Geminite Pearl, be my guest. It comes in handy sometimes for a first turn play. Heroic Champion Excalibur, because we can win those warriors. He has won me games. And Blade Armor Ninja has won me games as well. For the 2 Synchros, I run 1 Scrap Dragon and 1 Colossal Fighter. It's player preference. If you want to run Crimson Blader instead of Colossal Fighter, go right ahead. All I can say about Colossal Fighter is he has won me games, and he can get so big. And if you can protect him with, Forbidden Lance, and you have Forbidden Lance in hand, and you can go for a Colossal Fighter, go right ahead. Because this guy, I've literally got him up to 4,000 or above 4,000 attack sometimes. He can just get so big because this is a warrior type deck. And Scrap Dragon just because it's a good card. And if you got Glassjaw on the field, you can just activate Scrap Dragon's effect and get Glassjaw's effect off engrave. So that is my Battling Boxer deck, guys, in a nutshell. Please leave me some comments if you have suggestions for the deck. Like I said, I am trying out Kaiser Coliseum in the deck. I do like it, but I haven't added it to the deck yet. But that's my Battling Boxer deck, guys. I hope you like it, and thank you for watching this video, guys. I'll see you guys next time. And remember to have fun dueling, duel well, and take care, everybody. Until next time. Seto Kaiba, I'm out of here, guys.